Hi, I'm Matt from Tubby Tarot. Welcome to another 10 Talk Tuesday. Okay, so what are we going to be doing today? I want to show you the decks that I'm going to be rehoming because we are actually moving out of our house. I'm going to do a whole other video on that a bit later in the month, or perhaps in the beginning of September. I've discovered there's a young person in my area who has just started out reading tarot, and I'm going to be rehousing a full box of my old tarot cards. Here it is. That I'm not using, and the cards that I know I won't use. Okay, so ta-da, there they all are. There are loads of them. Okay, for those of you who've seen my tarot deck collection, go and watch it. You'll know that there are tons of cards in my collection, and most of them just sit on my my shelf. All right. So why am I getting rid of all these cards? Now, I'm going to show you a couple of the decks that I am getting rid of. I can't show you everything. We'll be here for another 3 hours. But what I'm going to show you is a quick thing on how why I'm getting rid of these cards, what decks they are, and then I'm going to show you how I cleanse this, okay? Because I can't send this whole big box off to George, whatever his name is, and it's got all my residual energy and all my energy from the reading. So I'm going to do a very, very quick and very easy cleanse. Once everything's in the box, I'm going to cleanse everything. You don't have to cleanse every single deck, guys. If you are rehoming cards and you've got this much and you have a big box full, I'll show you how to do that in just a few minutes. So the first two decks I'm going to rehome is my micro Nicoletta Ciccoli tarot. Okay, this is the tiny version of this. I never use it. It's very disturbing. Even I find this deck too disturbing. It's just too weird. So I'm going to be housing that. And then I've got tons of these sort of Sibylla cards, Oracle Gypsy cards. I've got about 4 boxes, all different, but all very much the same. So these are going to be this is another deck that I'm going to be housing. Okay, this is probably the only Sibylla cards he'll have. So he's going to get those too. Let's pack them away as I go. Then I'm rehousing the Mystic Fairy Tarot. All right. This tarot deck is just not really for me. I am going to do a little review of this, but when in the review you'll see why I won't use this, so he can have that. I'm going to put this aside just for now. Then I have got the Fairy Lenormand. Okay, again, I'm not going to be using this deck. It's too big. It's a Lenormand deck. It's too big for me, and it's actually quite a difficult deck to use, so passing it on to have to struggle through. All right. Then I've done a review of this deck. Oh, I'll be doing a review of that deck as well. I've done a review of this deck. I think you saw it on Sunday, last Sunday. It is a nice little deck, but again, it's too big. I'm not going to be able to use this. It's a Lenormand deck. It's huge, so I'm not actually going to be using this one. I'm going to pack that one away. Now, moving on. The Angelarium Oracle of Emanations. This deck is very weird. It's very strange, and I find it very difficult, almost impossible to use. So I'm going to hand it over to him, and I know that he has seen this deck and he was like, oh my gosh, I really want that deck. So he can have this deck, okay, simply because I'm not using it. I then have, don't laugh at me, okay, I have this Thoth deck. Now anybody who's seen my review of the Thoth deck, you'll see that the deck itself is literally this big, okay, this monstrous box, this huge book, and then the deck is literally like that big. It's just like in the middle there. Okay, so I don't read Thoth. The only reason I wanted this is so that I could have a Thoth deck in my collection, but I'm rehoming this. Okay, he can have a look at this and see what he wants to do with it. I then am going to be rehoming these two. I'm going to give him these two because he's a beginner. I'm not a beginner. I know my tarot backwards. I'm going to be giving him these two, Tarot Easy Tarot and the Barbara Moore Tarot Made Easy. This is quite nice. It's got the book and the cards in there. You see me do the review of these. Because they're so easy, I'm never going to use them. They're just sitting on my shelf. So he can actually use these to do a bit more study with. Okay, so there, those two. Okay, ultra beginners stuff. All right. I then have 4 more that I'm going to be giving, that I'm going to show you, because there's lots of stuff in here. The Revelations Tarot. Now, if you've seen this review, you'll know that the cards are extremely detailed. And also the cards, when you flip them upside down, they kind of give you don't have to turn them over. It's a very strange deck. I never use this. It's too hectic for me to use. And the reason I bought this was really just for the artwork. Okay, so that's going to go to him as well. He can have that. Let's just pop it in there. All right, there we go. The Wildwood Tarot, beautiful tarot deck. Quite an expensive tarot deck. I paid quite a lot of money for this. But again, it's just a bit, it's something I won't ever use. I thought this was very Celtic, and it's not. It's actually more an animal deck, and I'm not hugely into animal decks. So this one's going as well. So he's really scoring with this one. Okay. Tarot of Nostradamus, the Lost Tarot of Nostradamus. Everybody raved about this. I got it. It was nice, but the cards all look very much the same. So again, it's not an easy deck to use, although it's quite a pretty deck. It's an unusual deck, but he can have this as well because I'm never going to use this. And then last that I'm going to show you is the Tree Angel Oracle. This, I wanted this so badly, and I actually drove around Durban looking for this deck 3 times. And eventually I found it. I was chasing the person who had this deck. I was chasing them around Durban. I got it, and I've never used it. And the more I look at it, the more I dislike it. So it was cheap. I think I paid like 100 Rand for it. So it was cheap. It is a second-hand one, and it is an OOP. So you probably think I'm really stupid to give it away, but I'm not using it, so he can actually use it. Okay, so that's just a few of the cards that I'm giving away. All right, a nice big box full that he can have. Now, I just want to show you what I do. Simple, simple, simple. How are we going to cleanse this of all my energy and all the energy, the residual energy that has clung to the cards, that has sort of permeated into this? Now, easy peasy. Get yourself a nice little stick of incense, okay? Oh, it smells divine. Any incense, guys, any incense. It doesn't have to be a certain type. It doesn't have to be rose or this, that, or next thing. And you just light your incense, okay? Let's get it lit. All right, be careful when you're using matches and we're using fire. Do not, especially with paper. Please be very careful, okay? And remember, when you're using incense, do not ever blow it out, okay? Always shake it out like that. You shake the flame out, all right? It'll give you a better burn, strangely enough. Okay, and you don't have to say any magical words. You just have to make sure that the whole box has been kind of steamed or smoked with this incense. You can, of course, you can say something like a little incantation if you are so inclined. I'm not a witch, and I'm not that kind of person, so I don't use incantations and things like that. I believe that the incense will just clear all this negative energy. Incense is related to air, remember, and I believe that as the smoke from the incense curls up and away, it will release all the negative energy. I'm just doing the back of the box. It will release all the negative energy, okay? And basically that's how you do it. You don't have to do fantastic things with crystals. Look, you can. I mean, you can go and you can do this on each of these boxes. You can take each box and you can do this with it, and you can then put a crystal on it, or you can bury it outside, or you can, well, no, don't bury them if you're giving them away. But you can do like a little ceremony. But this is a huge box of stuff, and I don't really want to take 3 hours doing this, because it will probably take me like two hours doing this if I had to do the whole box separately. So just, that's all you need to do, okay? There we go. Simple stuff like this. You don't have to be all heavily creative and heavily sort of, casting spells and all that sort of thing. Just make sure that you are not burning the actual box, the boxes. Make sure you handle anything that's flammable with great care, okay? And yeah, just like that. It's so simple. All the negativity is clearing out, okay? You can do this for the entire length of this incense. I am going to redo this once we're off video. So I'm just kind of showing you, but I am going to redo this with a full length of incense. Okay, so it'll probably take you about 20 minutes to actually just cleanse this whole thing. All right. And that, guys, is why I'm going to be rehousing some of my decks. And that's also how you can cleanse the decks before you hand them over. I'm Matt from Tubby Tarot, and I'll see you next week for some more 10 Talk.